All right, so we are about to hop on the Community Alliance of Family Farmers Small Farm Innovation Challenge presentation. I won for the software category of the Innovation Challenge this year. I'm going to present on that project to a whole host of fellow farmers and kind of get their feedback and see if this service that I've spent a lot of time building, which I'm calling Harmonize, is actually useful in the farming context. I'm eager to see how it goes. I'm a little nervous, I must say, but I've spent a lot of time kind of understanding what it is that I've built and trying to communicate that value that I've been experiencing on my farm from using it to other farmers. I'm really excited to have won. This is my second time entering CAFF's Small Farm Innovation Challenge. I didn't get selected last year, but I did this year, and I was super excited. I'm gonna give my talk, I'll record it, have you guys check it out, and then I'll follow up with some closing thoughts and share a little bit more about the story that I had around building Harmonize. All right, sweet. Hey, what's up, Elizabeth? Yeah, I can try it first real quick, just see. Let's just do the desktop. Looking like you're seeing the presentation? Cool. Sweet.
All right, so welcome. I'm Elizabeth Vaughn. I manage the Small Farm Innovation Challenge at CAFF. I'm really excited to celebrate this year's winners of the Small Farm Innovation Challenge. And we're going to be seeing a lot of amazing innovations today for the small farm community. All right, our best, this is our last awardee, but certainly not the least. We have our best software innovation prize winner. And it is Harmonize with David at Cardiff Tiny Farm. And I'll now hand it over to David. He'll be sharing his screen and telling us more about Harmonize. Technology.
I just sent you the request to share screen. Did that come up? Okay,
let's see if Evan's on the call. Hopefully he can help with that.
I got it right here. Yeah, I think we're looking good. So yeah, hello everybody, my name's David. As Elizabeth mentioned, I run a super small scale farm here in North County, San Diego called Cardiff Tiny Farm. I specialize primarily in cut salad greens. And prior to owning and operating a small farm, I worked at a little bit larger scale farm called Fox Point Farms, which operates at about 2.5 acres. And it was there that the idea for Harmonize came to mind. Specifically, we were finding it quite challenging to track our harvest data, or harvest yields, while we were in the fields, particularly because we were using pen and paper. I had the great idea of volunteering my time to translate those many recorded sheets of paper into spreadsheet data, columns and rows, and found myself quite frustrated by that process, and admittedly, I never finished the job. I don't think I am alone in this kind of difficulty that we face as farmers in terms of being out in the field and wanting to capture data that we are kind of accruing through our work, but not really having a centralized place to collect it all. So we spread it across a lot of various surfaces, notebooks, notes apps, voice memos, and we constantly tell ourselves, I'll enter it into a spreadsheet later, and that later never really comes. I know that was the case for me at Fox Point, and I don't think it's a software problem. I don't think it's a spreadsheet problem. I think farmers have tons of access to great software, tons of great access to spreadsheets. I know I run my farm pretty much entirely on a series of spreadsheets. So it's not any of that. I think the problem is the friction that's involved in getting the data from where it occurs out in the field to where we want it in a centralized, analyzable state, and in a shape that we can actually learn from it. So, after a lot of time spent translating a lot of the data from the sheets I was having to work with at Fox Point, the idea came to me, what if we were just able to text this information to ourselves while we were doing the work? And that one curiosity led me to develop a solution that kind of itched that scratch that I had. Spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make that possible. And that is essentially what Harmonize is. It's a very easy way for us to record keep just using a simple text message. There's a lot of complexities involved, but instead of actually going into the details behind it, I figure it might just be better to show you guys what I'm talking about. So the beauty is that Harmonize is not another software app you need to download. It's not another system you need to learn. You effectively interface with it entirely through your text messaging service of choice. Whether that's iMessage, in this case we're using Google Voice, which is an online text messaging service. But this is where you're going to work with Harmonize. And for the purposes of the demonstration, let's just say I harvested 10 pounds of arugula. Okay, there we go. And let's say we did it from row 3, and at Fox Point we organized the farm into blocks. So let's say we did it from block 1, and we usually like to track the time it took. So let's say it took us 15 minutes. And I'm going to send that, and what's happening right now is that Harmonize is receiving that information. It's trying to understand it in relationship to the spreadsheet I have connected to my phone number, and I can actually bring you into the dashboard side if we wanted to see the back end. Again, you don't have to interact with Harmonize through this view, it just shows you what's happening. Basically, we see that our message got received, we have one connected data sheet, which is this Fox Point harvest log, and it's doing all of the work of trying to infer, okay, what's in the harvest log, what's the structure of this spreadsheet, what's the data I'm receiving, and can I put it in the right order and format. So we did just get a notification that you see here that something updated, and in fact we get a notification as well, if I can minimize the side screen, we get a notification as well through our text messages as well. So hey, Fox Point Farms got logged arugula 10 unit, or the quantity of 10 in units, pounds 3, row 3, so on and so forth. We can verify this by going into our dashboard, looking at the spreadsheet and seeing ourselves, did this actually get accounted for? And it did. So we have the majority of the data in there. I see that we might have missed block, but we see that we inferred the date correctly without having to actually put the date down. Harmonize is built to try to infer as much information as possible so that you don't have to agonize over saying all the specifics. I wanted it to be super straightforward and easy to use for that purpose. So that is, the nuts and bolts of what it does. Again, I think the beauty of it is that you're not downloading another app, you're not learning another system, you're just going into your messages and you're texting what data you want stored. Harmonize handles the rest. And it's not just harvest data that you can use this for. So effectively any spreadsheet that is organized into rows and columns can be used with Harmonize. So I track expenses, I track my labor hours, I'm starting to track sales, and it's all through this text message interface. And the reason I think this is helpful is that I think easy recording leads to better recording of data, and better recording of data leads to better businesses, because we're able to ask our business questions or at least analyze information we otherwise wouldn't have on hand. So for myself, it's led to better and smarter crop planning because I know when exactly I planted certain beds. It's helped me understand my labor input better because I'm tracking hours related to certain tasks. That's helping me actually translate that information into better profitability measures because I can finally put a time basis and a cost basis on my labor hours spent. And then, for certified organic farms, that can mean better audit readiness. If you are having to track and record exactly what you're doing in compliance with the organic certification requirements, I can see Harmonize being a really easy interface with which to log certain activities. Overall, it's just less time spent on admin and data entry, and I think we can all use that because we're pretty busy as is. I kind of will end it by just saying I made this for myself because I was just kind of curious and I needed it. I don't want to fool myself into thinking if it's useful for me, it's useful for everybody else. So I'm really eager to try to get a handful of farms onto a pilot program, work with them closely, have them use the service, and really tweak it and improve upon it to make it as useful as it can to small farms. If you guys are interested, the site is live. You can go check out harmonize.one. You can sign up for our wait list. You can message me at david@cardifftinyfarm.com if you want to be a pilot participant. And I just echo what all the other winners here have said, that it's just such an honor to be a part of this innovation challenge, to have been selected. It means a ton, and it really is inspiring to be alongside a lot of innovators who are transparent with their building and really about the cause of uplifting small farms. That's all I have on my end. I can look at any questions that have come through. Looks like we're good on questions, but yeah, that's what I got. So we just got done with our CAFF presentation. I was super excited to hear that we won $5,000 cash prize. That's gonna come in really handy as we try to build out the service more and pay for some of the existing expenses that we've accumulated in building it. But yeah, it was huge honor to be selected alongside some amazing innovators. We had Katie, who demonstrated an autonomous rover, it's basically a tractor that moves on its own. We had Gerardo that created a process that allowed farmers to share well resources, so well water resources, solving a huge issue amongst farmers as it pertains to like bill disputes. Andrew is like a mechanical wizard who created this crazy ripper, which is essentially a tractor implement that creates pathways to actually plant seeds and to do so in a regenerative way, such as to not disrupt the soil too much. And then Harold made this amazing fertigation station setup, which is, fertigation is a system that allows you to create fertilizer and then pump it out to your irrigation channels. So just some amazing minds. I'm so humbled to be amongst them again in terms of this innovation challenge. I was a bit nervous heading in, but then I practiced my speech a bit and I tried to make it a little bit nonchalant too. I didn't want to build it up in my head too much, and I thought it went pretty well. It's always interesting testing software live. I've used the service myself hundreds of times now, and it's worked every single time. But you just never know. As soon as you try to demo something in the wild for somebody else, there's a weird magical force that sometimes comes over and it just breaks things on the 500th and first try. But no, it worked. It worked pretty well. It demonstrated well. Well, let me tell you about what Harmonize is. It's effectively a record-keeping tool in which you're able to text data to yourself or to the Harmonize number, and it automatically understands and extracts the information that you want stored, and it puts it into a spreadsheet. Demoed really well. I showcased a natural language message that said harvested 10 pounds of arugula from row 6, block 2, 15 minutes. And it got a majority of information, but the issue was I was testing it before without the minutes and without the block bits of information, so it didn't pick that up. But again, it demonstrated well enough and it showed the specifics of the service, so I'm sure anyone who uses it and tries it out themselves will get the full feeling of the value that they might get from making data management and data entry that much easier. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where this project can go. It was born out of a crazy idea I had while I was harvesting vegetables out in Fox Points fields and getting really tired of doing pen and paper record keeping and seeing that those records never got translated to actual spreadsheets. Dawned on me for a little bit, and the interesting story amongst it all too was I didn't start working on it until September. I'd kind of been noodling on it for about a month. And then I injured my knee in a jiu-jitsu training accident, and I was bedridden for like a week, maybe more, 2 weeks, and decided to pull my computer up, and it'd been a while since I programmed anything, and programs like a long-standing love affair I have with it. So I popped my computer open and started playing around with some systems and just absolutely fell in love with it. Became almost obsessive about it for the better part of 2 months. Refined it through November and December, and I had my eye on this innovation challenge as early as the beginning of October. I knew I wanted to get this to a workable state to where other people can use it and experience it, and I could submit it and win this challenge. And I was pleasantly surprised, or at least excited. I was very excited that I won. I put a lot of hours into it, you know, beyond 100 for sure. And I think it presents well. It's something I'm proud of. It's something I would love to continue to work on. And I would love to see it grow into a business. We'll see. We'll see where I can take it. It's been a lot of time taken away from farming the last 3 days just to get it into a good usable state to present it. But I think it's pretty much there. I think it's ready to share. And I'm just so overjoyed that it was selected for this year's CAFF Small Farm Innovation Challenge. Thank you to CAFF. Congratulations to all the other participants and winners. You know, if you haven't followed CAFF yet, it's again Community Alliance of Family Farmers. They're a great follow on YouTube. They got some amazing resources and information to be shared around small farms and small farming. If you are interested at all in the small farming space and you are an innovator, whether that's do-it-yourself projects, hardware projects, software projects, or even process innovations, check them out. Go to CAFF, I think it's CAFF Small Farm Innovation Challenge. Google that and you'll find them. And yeah, really excited to see what the future is with Harmonize, and appreciate you all following this journey.